Watching the news, I was beside myself with worry. They were reporting that the plane my husband was on for his business trip had crashed. I couldn't get through to him, no matter how many times I tried calling. Please, pick up. And then, as usual, I got an email from my husband saying, "Just landed." Oh, thank goodness. But my relief was short-lived when the news anchor stated, "There are no survivors." Huh? How can that be? Wasn't the plane safe after all? My name is Kathy. I live with my husband, Tyson, of 5 years, and our daughter, Julie, who's about to turn 3. I quit my job when I got pregnant, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom. Julie has gotten past her terrible twos and has recently started to be a big help around the house. Those terrible twos were tough. But now I'm enjoying parenting without the stress. As my relationship with my daughter grows stronger, life with Tyson has become somewhat dull. Lately, he's barely home, except to sleep. Maybe because he's so busy with work. Sometimes he comes home, smelling like women's perfume, which makes me wonder if he's been to a club or something. With all the sudden calls to work and weekend shifts, he hardly has any time to spend with Julie and me. "Does Daddy not like me anymore?" she would murmur, and I would hug her tight and stroke her head gently. "Of course not, sweetheart. Daddy's just really busy with work. He's working hard so that we can have this life together. Your birthday is on a Sunday this time, and he's promised to celebrate with us. So let's look forward to playing a lot with him then." Seeing her look so sad, I had pleaded with him to at least be there for her birthday. "I'll definitely take the day off," he had promised, and I was looking forward to celebrating together as a family. Her birthday is next month. We're planning to celebrate with my in-laws, who live just a 15-minute drive away and are quite close to Julie. Tyson has a sister, Hannah, who has 2 kids, and they live in the same city. The grandparents love both their grandchildren equally, which is something I'm really grateful for, as I've heard that some favor their daughter's children over their daughter-in-laws. Some even urge the daughter-in-law to have a boy instead of a girl, so that he can carry on the family name. So one day, Tyson tells me, "I have to go on a business trip overseas for 2 weeks, starting on the 8th next month." I asked him to repeat himself. "Wait, an international business trip?" "Yeah, from the 8th of next month, for 2 weeks. I'm flying to France. It's going to take over half a day by plane," he replied, seemingly annoyed. I couldn't hold back and confronted him. "You do remember that Julie's birthday is on the 10th, next month, right? You promised we'd celebrate together. I've already told her about it. Just today, she was feeling so sad, wondering if you didn't like her anymore. How can you break your promise to be here for our daughter's birthday?" It was unbearable to think of her feelings. I was seeing red. "I can't help it. It's work. I wish I could celebrate with her too," he said, and I was taken aback. Looking at him, I could see the pain on his face. "Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I just got a little carried away because I feel so sorry for her." After I apologized, he patted my shoulder and said, "Oh, I'll prepare a gift. So ask her what she wants. My parents will be there, so she won't be lonely. And next year,
I promise. We'll celebrate together for sure.
Okay. You promise? I pressed him, deciding to let it go this time. I'll have to make sure Julie doesn't feel too lonely without her dad. So, I'll go all out with the decorations and cooking. I talked to my in-laws about his business trip and asked if they could stay over at our place on her birthday. Then my mother-in-law, Mary, said, "It's unfortunate that he has to be away for Julie's birthday, but leave it to us. We'll make sure she'll have a great time. I already told Scott, and he started getting ready for the sleepover." Her response lifted my spirits. If only Julie would be a little happier with this. The next day I told her about Tyson's business trip abroad. She looked sad, and her eyes welled up with tears. "But, Grandpa and Grandma said they'd stay over for your birthday," I tried to say cheerfully. At that moment, her face lit up. It seemed to lift her spirits a bit. The day after Tyson left for his trip, Mary called. "Kathy, do you need anything for tomorrow? I've got the presents ready and the cake ordered. Is there anything else you want? It must be hard preparing all by yourself with Tyson away. Just tell me if you need anything, okay? We'll come over early tomorrow." I was so grateful for her thoughtfulness and immediately thanked her. "Thank you, Mary. I just got back from shopping with Julie to pick out what she wanted. I've got the decorations ready too. So we're all set. Thanks for the presents and the cake." "It's no problem at all. It's fun to choose these things. Scott has been fidgety for a week now. I told him he's too eager." She replied, and I couldn't help but smile. It's great to have such wonderful in-laws. Even without my husband, tomorrow is sure to be a fun day. After chatting for a while, Mary changed the subject. "By the way, has Tyson landed yet? Didn't he say he'd be moving to another location after he got there? He mentioned he had to take a connecting flight. He should have landed by now, but I haven't heard from him yet. So maybe his flight's delayed." I replied, thinking to check the flight number he'd left with me once we hung up. Just then, her voice trembling, she said, "Kathy, was he flying to France?" I sensed something was wrong. "Yes, but why?" "Turn on the TV right now. They're saying a plane crashed in France on the news." "What?" I turned on the TV in a hurry and saw an emergency broadcast of the crash site. I was so shocked that I dropped my cell phone. I heard Mary's scream and quickly picked it back up. "Stay calm, Kathy. We still don't know it's his flight." "You're right," I replied, though I was overwhelmed with anxiety. What if something had happened to him? While I was worried, the news anchor delivered the unbearable truth. It was the same aircraft model that my husband was on. Mary, that's Tyson's flight." "What? What do we do? Tyson." I collapsed to my knees, feeling my mouth go dry as tears streamed down my face, unbidden. "Kathy," Mary's loud voice pulled me back to reality. "Stay strong, Kathy. We don't know what's happened to Tyson yet. Try to get in touch with him. I'm on my way over right now, so stay calm. Okay, honey?" Okay." After hanging up with her, I immediately called Tyson, but all I heard was the hollow sound of the ringing tone. "Please, no. This can't be happening. Why wouldn't he answer? Desperately, I typed a text to him, asking, "Are you okay?" Clutching my phone tightly, I stared at the screen until, to my relief, he texted back.
"Just landed."
Oh, thank goodness. Tears of relief overflowed as I started to reply to his message. It was then that I heard these words from the TV I had left on.
"There are no survivors."
Huh? No survivors? How can that be? That was supposed to be the same type of plane Tyson was on. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I stopped texting and made a phone call instead. But I couldn't get through at all. Why isn't he answering the phone? When I switched to text messages, I finally got a text back from him.
"Oh, I just got to the airport, and there's a lot to do, like picking up luggage."
Seriously? He's not even thinking about how worried I am. I was getting increasingly agitated, a mix of anxiety and anger building up. The news said your plane crashed. I was so worried. Just pick up the phone for a second. Let's do a video call so I can see your face.
"I'm safe. The crash wasn't my flight. I'll call later. I have to get moving now."
He sent such a carefree text. After that, no matter how many texts I sent, he didn't reply. Ugh. Can't he see how worried I am? Well, at least I was able to confirm he's safe. But my mood completely soured when Mary called. I just called up Tyson's company before heading over. They said he's on extended leave. They were like, business trip abroad? It didn't seem like they knew what I was talking about. Her words made me realize everything. So, that's it. The long business trip to France was a lie from the start. Had I ever felt such hatred towards my husband since we got married? Mary. I decided to tell her about everything. About him hardly ever coming home, showing no interest in the family, returning with the smell of women's perfume on him. I had been reluctant to suspect infidelity, just because of the perfume scent, and tried not to think about it. But now that he's taken a long leave and lied about a business trip, infidelity was the only thing that made sense. Mary was openly furious with my conclusion. That idiot son of mine! It's us who were foolish to worry. Kathy, come over to our house. It must be tough to be there with just Julie. I decided to take her up on her offer. Once the move settled down, Mary and Scott apologized to me again. Even Hannah, my sister-in-law, came to cheer me up after hearing about it. I was touched all over again by the kindness of my husband's family. Despite them being such good people, I couldn't help but wonder why Tyson was such a jerk. I ended up hiring a detective agency to gather evidence of his infidelity. Then I got a photo of him at the airport with his mistress. Unforgivable. So he really was cheating. 2 weeks later, Tyson finally called.
"Hello, Kathy? Where are you? I just got back from my trip, but my key won't work. Can you come and unlock the door?"
He must think I'm oblivious. His voice was so nonchalant. I decided to confront him with reality. Even if I came, it wouldn't open. I don't have a key. And even if I did, the old locks have probably been changed by now.
"What? Changed? What are you talking about? You're Kathy, right?"
I could tell he was flustered over the phone. "We've moved out. I can't be a family with a cheating man who goes on an affair trip on our daughter's birthday."
"What are you talking about?"
My anger was rising as he played dumb. You think I don't know? I know everything. That you took a long leave from work, that you didn't go to France but the Maldives instead.
"Calm down, Kathy. There's some mistake." "All right. There was a colleague who took a long leave. Maybe you're confusing me with him?
Are you kidding me? You think you can fool me with that? I'm underestimated, that's for sure. Well, yeah, of course. You've been claiming overtime, working on weekends, all while cheating. I couldn't contain my anger and raised my voice. Deep down, I wanted to lash out and hurl insults. But I was so overwhelmed with emotion, simply stating the facts was all I could manage. I'm divorcing you. You're definitely going to pay alimony and child support. Then I heard him shout.
Wait.
What now? I snapped back and he stammered in response.
I'm sorry. I did have an affair, sure. But it was just for fun. The truth is, Kathy, you're the only one I love.
That makes me sick. I retorted, hearing his voice fade, as if vanishing. My words seemed to have an effect. But I had more to say. Nice acting job. But how can I take seriously the words of a man who ditches his daughter's birthday for a cheating getaway? Did you think saying it was just for fun makes it excusable? Cut the crap. I'll never forgive you or your mistress. His tone shifted sharply to irritation as he retorted.
Huh? I'm here apologizing and you're giving me attitude. Who do you think provides the lifestyle you're living? If we divorce, you're the one who's going to suffer. Stop making a fuss about an affair. And enough with the birthday nagging. Is it really that important?
Then my sister-in-law Hannah snatched the phone from me. Who would want to stay with someone who can't even cherish his own daughter's birthday?
Huh? Hannah? Why are you with Kathy?
He seemed surprised by her sudden involvement. But that wasn't the end. There were more surprises to come. I'm here too.
Mom? I'm here as well. Dad too?
At this point, I revealed our ruse to Tyson. We figured you'd call once you realized you couldn't get in the house, so we were all waiting. Julie's with Hannah's husband. Then Scott shouted,
You're no son of mine. Don't ever think of stepping foot in this house again.
Mary and Hannah began their onslaught, one after the other. Your stuff is stored in the shed. Get it if you need to. If it's not gone by tomorrow, I'm throwing it all out. Tyson, how could you do this to Kathy? Disgusting. The worst. Don't ever come near us again.
No, just wait. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I apologize, so please, don't say such things.
His family's words clearly wounded him. He sounded like he was about to cry, desperately pleading. But nobody was willing to forgive him. I yelled at him. Don't you understand how unforgivable it is to be cheated on just because you had a whim? You've been cheating for a long time. Don't you dare lie to me at this point. Enough with your cheating, jerk. If you don't agree to divorce, I'll take you to court. Then he panicked at the mention of court and quickly agreed to the divorce. The next day, Tyson showed up at his parents' doorstep to apologize, but all he got were cold stares. Unable to stand it, he took only the bare essentials packed in the shed and left. Afterward, I demanded a lump sum in damages from him and his mistress. Once the mistress realized she'd been caught and faced with a demand for damages, she dumped Tyson. I've left Tyson, so forgive me. But I had no intention of dropping the claim. She ended up taking a job in the night industry because of her debts. My husband, unable to bear the shame at work, chose to resign. However, he needed money for the alimony and child support. He's now working all day, with no time to play. Meanwhile, I'm still living with my in-laws. They continue to treat Julie and me with kindness, just as before. I hope to repay their goodness someday by doing everything I can to the best of my ability.